Hello there, everybody, and today we'll be looking at a famous Paul Morphy game at the opera. Paul Morphy was an American grandmaster, and he was considered to be a chess prodigy and the first unofficial world champion. However, at the time that he started playing in around the 1850s, he didn't think people could have dignity by playing chess as their playing chess in a career, and then we missed out on a lot of it. We missed out on a great talent, and he had a lot of potential, and then he pursued another career in law. However, in the short time he did play, he managed to give us a lot of great games, and this happens to be one of them. This was one of the game about to show you. It was one of my favorite games, and it was the first game that I memorized to heart. And it was a really nice game that involved a lot of good tactics and use of proper chess play. So Paul Morphy opens with e4, and Black responds with e5. Then Paul Morphy goes knight f3, attacking the pawn, and Black goes d6 to defend the pawn. This is not a popular defense nowadays, due to the lack of the defense's ability to defend the square, and it blocks in this bishop. So it's not the most popular opening, but it can be very effective. Paul Morphy goes with the most aggressive line and goes d4, and now the Black goes bishop g4. The people who are playing the black pieces are two amateur players, the Count and another person were playing. I can't remember their names right now, but they were they thought if they worked together they could beat Paul Morphy, but that wasn't the case. Bishop g4 is not the best move now because it does give white a lead in development, but at the time it was the accepted move. So Paul Morphy plays dxe4. Black plays bishop takes f3. Paul Morphy played to stop this move was to stop white from grabbing a pawn, and then white played queen x f3, and for the line where he could have grabbed a pawn, for example, if he had taken back, white would simply trade queens, and then white would have a position where he would be up a pawn and attacking the bishop, and the square where he'd be able to fork the king and rook. So after Paul Morphy took back, the Black took back, Paul Morphy went bishop c4. But both pieces now attacked the square, threatening checkmate. To defend checkmate, the Count went knight f6. The white continued his attack with bishop queen b3, and Black has to defend this, otherwise it's checkmate. And he went queen e7. In this position, if he had done something like knight c7, then white could take on this square because the bishop is protected by the queen. The king would have to move, and wherever he goes, let's say e7, it is checkmate on the next move. So he has to defend it with queen e7. And now Paul Morphy develops another one of his pieces by bringing his knight out. This is one of the reasons I really like this game. Paul Morphy follows all the opening principles and gets to himself to a really good position, while Black plays a lesser, more passive game that results in having a worse position. Black plays c6 to prevent the knight from attacking the queen on d5. White develops another one of his pieces with bishop g5. And now Black plays b5, attacking the bishop. And it was one of the many sacrifices Paul Morphy made through his game. He played knight takes b5. The count took back, and then bishop takes c5, attacking the king. Of course, if you move your king, you would run into all sort of checks that wouldn't be good for you. So once he took, the black went knight d7. However, this ended up being the losing move. White castled queenside 0-0-0. Then black played rook d8 to defend this knight. If he hadn't played rook d8 and instead attacked the bishop, for example, white would win this knight, because if the knight took back, then the queen drops because it's pinned. So after rook d8, white still attacks with rook takes d7. Then black takes again. Then white goes rook d7, and then queen e6 to allow this knight to defend the rook now, because the bishop no longer pins it. And now the bishop takes the rook, and the knight takes. Now Paul Morphy has mate in 2. I'll give you a chance to figure both moves out. So for those of you who are able to find the move, it was a queen and sacrifice, in fact, and the move was queen to b8. Check. This is a slightly advanced move, but it makes a use of the fact that this knight is pinned in a way. But the knight has to take, because the bishop covers this diagonal, and there's no piece to block the check with. So the knight has to take. And now there's checkmate in 1. I'll give you a few seconds to think about this. For those of you who are able to figure it out, it was rook d8 checkmate. The bishop protects the rook, and the king doesn't have anywhere to go. His own pieces are blocking his escape, and there's nothing to take either pieces with, and you can't block the check, of course. So, and that is checkmate, and Paul Morphy had beaten black. The thing that really stood out about this game to me is at the time Paul Morphy played a game that was much advanced for his time. The theory at the time, the regular moves weren't as proficient as today, and yet Paul Morphy played very precisely. He developed all his pieces and controlled the center, as we can see with this. He developed all his pieces, got his bishop out, got his queen to a good square. He got his other bishop out and was able to castle as well, and put a lot of pressure on the knight. And of course, we have a brilliant queen sacrifice at the end, which I really liked, and white got checkmate. This incorporates all of the opening principles and tactics, and it involves some brilliant play from Paul Morphy. If any of you have ideas for more games or comments or questions, leave them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.